Hello and welcome to our latest webinar for City Captains for National Drive Electric Week. My name is Mary Catherine Campbell. I am with Plug-in America and I serve as the Program Manager for National Drive Electric Week, which is presented by Plug-in America, Sierra Club, and the Electric Auto Association. We're very pleased today to have some of our friends and colleagues from Nissan LEAF team to give you some tips and tricks on how to put on a fantastic ride and drive at your local National Drive Electric Week event. Before we get started, though, I want to make a couple housekeeping announcements. First, please recognize that your phone will be on mute. You can listen in, but if you have any questions, use the question button or question box on the right-hand side of your screen. If you have any technical difficulties, you can also contact us as organizers and we can try to work you through that. This recording, this webinar will be recorded and we'll post it later on the site, so if you miss anything, you can always check back then. But it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce you to the Nissan LEAF team. The presenter today will be Heather Clarke. She is a program manager over at Nissan and she will take it away now. Thanks for joining us, Heather.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. I'm glad to have you all on. Just wanted to step through the presentation and give you some information about conducting a successful ride and drive. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to go to the first slide for me, please. All right. So the first piece of information you'll need to know is that you're going to need to determine who your contact is at each of the OEMs that are going to be conducting a ride and drive. Reach out to them at least 6 weeks in advance, and then you'll want to make sure that you contact them, your representative, directly. And then please, for like Nissan, please do not contact your dealers or your EVOMs this year. If you want to go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. So for the test drives, some paperwork will be required. There are going to be test drive waivers. Each OEM will likely require a liability waiver from each test drive participant. Then the insurance comes into play where there's going to be liability certificates. Depending on where the event is being held, this may be an additional requirement. It may not be, but you definitely need to find out prior to. Find out the specific insurance requirements for the location in advance. Next slide, please. All right, and then determining what the test drive route will be. It's best to keep it from 1 to 2 miles in length. Keeping it to right turns only will be the best solution if possible, just to reduce a lot of left-hand turns and getting under the traffic. And then create a map to give participants and organizers, and then ensure all test drive organizers are familiar with the route ahead of time. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. On the day of the event, there's going to be a SignUp booth. It's going to be in a centralized location to register your participants. You'll need to check for a valid driver's license, insurance, and sign all necessary waivers. And then there'll be a list of vehicles available for your test drives there. And then staging your area for vehicles. So make sure this is easily accessible and does not interfere with the pedestrian traffic, and then dedicated lines for each vehicle. So you'll want 1 to 2 people checking IDs and waivers, 1 person expediting the line, and 1 person conducting the test drive. That way people are moving through the traffic easily and not having to wait a long time, and it flows smoothly for them. Next slide, please. And then you'll want to reach out to the closest dealership or OEM representative 3 weeks in advance to establish protocol. And then you'll have pre-printed directions to the dealerships with a designated contact if that's applicable. So that's for dealership test drives. I apologize, I should have said that up front. And then ensure the test drive participants have completed the waiver in advance of reaching the dealership. All right, next slide, please. All right, so during the test drive, remember it is likely that this may be someone's first time driving an electric vehicle. Help them draw the comparison with an ICE vehicle by pointing out the quietness, lack of vibration, torque, rapid acceleration with no jerking or shifting, responsiveness of the throttle, and the regenerative braking. Next slide, please. And again, discuss the benefits of the electric vehicles. They're fun to drive, they're easy and cheaper to fuel, reduce maintenance costs, reduces air pollution and carbon footprint, and reduces dependency on foreign oil. Share with the participant why you love driving electric. Next slide, please. And make sure to review the vehicle specifications and encourage those riding with the participant to review their vehicle specifications as well so they're aware. While it is likely that the driver will ask more general questions concerning EVs, it will help in answering model-specific inquiries. And then ask the OEM if they have a one-pager or a fact sheet that can be distributed. Next page, please. How to deal with the dealers. Start early. Engage the dealer about participation in your ride and drive as soon as possible. When approaching the dealer about a sponsorship or participation in your ride and drive, highlight the potential traffic this will drive to their dealership. Communicate the event specifics and have a follow-up plan. Should an event or specifics change, be sure to let them know as soon as possible. Next slide, please. All right, so if you guys have any questions, there is the chat box that you can post your questions in. And if we don't get your questions answered today or for more information after the webinar, there is the email address that you guys can direct all questions to at Nissan, listed on your screen. All right, thank you very much for your time.
That's awesome. So I do already have a few questions lined up for you, Heather. So the first question was, what does OEM stand for? I can answer that if you'd like. It's original equipment manufacturer. That essentially means automaker. So if you're talking about reaching out to automakers or local dealerships to obtain vehicles in advance of the ride and drive, that's what Heather was recommending. You should be doing it now, 6 weeks in advance. Start as early as possible. So OEM stands for original equipment manufacturer. And then the next question.
Okay, I can't get off mute. Thank you.
That's okay. The next question is, do we have examples of the waiver available to share? I think I can field that one too, Heather. Or if you guys have like a standard one that you could share, that would be awesome too. Plug-in America has. Oh, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Janelle from the Nissan team as well. We have a waiver, but it's proprietary for Nissan ride and drives. But I imagine that each auto manufacturer will want to use their own. But it's probably best to check with them to legal requirements and as it pertains to their vehicles.
Exactly what I was going to say. I can also share with folks afterwards, if you like, an example of the Plug-in America ride and drive waiver, but Janelle is absolutely right. Each dealer will likely require some kind of waiver before allowing folks into their car that indemnifies them against damage. Typically, a ride and driver needs to be at least 18, if not 21 years of age and have a valid driver's license. They don't necessarily need to carry their own insurance to test drive a new car from a dealership. But the dealers have other hoops that sometimes need to be jumped through. For example, at the Los Angeles Drive Electric Week event in 2016, one of the dealerships had not only a waiver, but they had a survey that was asking questions about lifestyle and demographics. And then they also had a breathalyzer. So if you're co-locating with a big event where there might be alcohol nearby, please be careful and make sure that you don't allow anyone who seems to have imbibed to take a test drive. And then other dealers are a little bit more lax and just require a simple signature and a confirmation of a valid driver's license and license expiration date. What are the next questions? So for Janelle, could you elaborate on about why not to contact Nissan this year?
Sure, absolutely. As you guys may or may not have heard, we have an all-new LEAF that will be debuting in early September. And so our focus right now will be to showcase that vehicle and not the model year 17 that's currently in production. So we want, from a brand standpoint, we want to focus on the new LEAF, and so we don't want any test drives of the old LEAF going on at this time.
Thank you. Thanks, Janelle. Did you want to elaborate a little more?
Not at all. Sorry, I was just saying no problem to your thank you. Apologies.
There is another abbreviation on one of the first slides, and I think they're referring to Yvonne. Do you want to field that one, you guys?
Sure. Yvonne is a Nissan term. We have regional LEAF staff, and it's electric vehicle like operations manager, but that's a specific term to Nissan. Some of the other OEMs or auto manufacturers might have a different name for their regional LEAF personnel. That's the specific Nissan term.
Here's another question about the new LEAF. How will we find out if the new LEAF will be available at our events?
Great question. The city captains that we have contacted, unfortunately we have, the car is not in production yet, and so we have very, 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 very few cars that we have to utilize during NDEW, and as such, we can only have the cars at select locations. The city captains in which we have considered or have expressed interest in having a car there, we've already notified them, and we're beginning the planning stages. Unfortunately, the cars are going to be most likely showcased in the areas where we sell the most LEAFs. So it's a sales-based allocation, if you will.
Nice. What about current LEAF drivers? Are you guys planning anything special for us?
We absolutely are. At this point in time, I can't speak about it, but stay tuned.
You guys are such teasers over at Nissan. I love it. Okay. There are a couple other questions. Oh, there was a question about insurance. There's information on the website. Many of you are returning city captains, so you know how this works, but a few of you are new. Plug-in America is able to, and our partners organization, Sierra Club, and in some cases EAA, Electric Auto Association, are able to help provide certificates of insurance for static displays. Each of the dealers, if you're interacting with automotive dealers, will come with their own certificate of insurance. Make sure that when you're communicating with them that's clear. And the same goes for the waivers. They'll have their own waivers at their own booth. It's a good idea just in advance to just cover all of that material when you're talking to the dealers. And on the website, under the resources section is where you'll find information about how the insurance works. We've had this question before. It's not cropped up this time, but I am going to anticipate that someone will ask it. And the question is usually, what about our own cars? Can we let people drive our own cars? And we don't necessarily recommend that. We do recommend that as EV enthusiasts and EV drivers that you invite as many fellow EV drivers as possible to come and display their vehicles. but each driver will and vehicle owner would need to make a choice for themselves of whether or not they would allow a stranger to drive their car. That would not be covered under any insurance policy. So generally, we recommend you not do that at National Drive Electric Week events. There are also some amazing deals on used cars that are coming up, so it might be helpful for you to check out Plug-in America's new used car buyer guide in anticipation of questions that you might be getting from attendees on how to pick out a used EV that might work for their lifestyle. I do have one more question. Let me just read it quickly. Oh, okay, so this was, I kind of anticipated this question. So this presentation assumes that the cars come from dealers. The dealers in my area are not interested or don't show up. How are the waiver and other matters different for private owner cars? Well, they're a lot different because private owner cars won't be covered under the certificates of insurance that we provide. So again, if you're going to have a smaller event with some owners who are willing to take people for rides in their cars, that would your own private insurance would cover passengers normally. But we don't recommend, and nor do we endorse the idea or concept of using Drive Electric Week as a platform for you to ask strangers to let other strangers drive their cars. Hopefully you can get some. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, MK. I was just going to say one idea to get, I know that it's difficult to get dealers to participate in these types of events, but having an event on a Saturday, although it's great for consumers, it's bad for dealers because that's high traffic days. So if you have, my suggestion would be if you haven't had, if you haven't picked your date as of yet, having an event maybe a Friday as a compromise, or at a different time or at an earlier time before sales pick up at dealerships might be helpful. And the other thing is to find some sort of way to tie it to sales. I mean, these guys are 100% money driven. So if you can somehow showcase that the amount of people that you're going to have at these events and how many people they'll have access to, that might be a big selling point for them. EVs as a whole for dealers are hard to sell, but those that are engaged understand the benefits, and most of the OEMs are incentivizing dealers to sell EVs for numerous and legal reasons. So if you get the engaged dealer and you can showcase it at a time that does not impede sales, you might have a higher turnout. But I just wanted to highlight that. I'm sorry, MK.
That's okay. I totally understand that. And ironically enough, if you do an event on a Friday, there's a possibility that fewer people will attend, and therefore the dealership may not want to show up. So it's definitely a tightrope walk. I would recommend, and I think the best advice Heather gave, is to start early. If you're going to do it, if you're going to host an event in 2018, develop the relationships with those dealers and you can prove to them that this is a worthwhile endeavor. And lots of city captains have repeat business coming back from dealerships who want to participate. So it's not all doom and gloom for sure. Here's another question, and I think it's clarification on your earlier point, Janelle. Are you saying that there will be no LEAF cars available for most of our ride and drives?
That's correct. We would not like any Nissan LEAFs to be at any of the. I'm sorry. We would not like any LEAFs to be test driven this year.
Okay. There's another comment, which is the unfortunate nature of needing to have waivers and insurance, and that's true. Liability is an issue, and it is unfortunate in society now. I concur with that, but it's a fact of doing business, and we just want to make sure that everyone is covered. So knock on wood, we've never had any incidents happen to date, and we've had hundreds of thousands of people gather to celebrate EV. So being covered, having smart folks and who are focused, following Heather's recommendations of having folks available to evaluate driver's licenses and make sure that the dealers are aware ahead of time of ride and drive routes. I can also share with y'all, if you'd like, I might put up a sample route map, which consists of all right turns. We did at an event in the springtime for Plug-in America at a local Los Angeles area community of faith, and it's a very nice route. It's a nice example of how to present the route to the dealers who will be bringing the cars, or to private folks that will be doing vehicle parades that consist entirely of right-hand turns. And it allows, if you're going to be having a ride and drive, definitely, I hope that you're situated somewhere where people can enjoy the fast acceleration and torque that EVs provide. Maybe you can get up to 40 miles an hour or so on the ride and drive, so people can really punch it and see what it feels like, because that's what sells EVs. We've said this before and we'll say it again, it's kind of indelicate, but the best sales for technique for electric cars is butts in seats. People get to actually feel it, how exciting it is and how fast they are. It's fun, especially for those of us who might qualify as a lead foot. It looks like there are no other questions at this time. Again, follow up with the email there at the bottom if you have any questions with the LEAF team. And you can always contact us at Plug-in America at mkcampbell@pluginamerica.org, or you can write to NDEW at support@driveelectricweek.org. All right, well, it looks like we've completed our webinar a little bit early. If there are no other questions, we will wrap up and say thank you so much for Janelle and Heather's time. We appreciate it, you guys. And we'll be chatting either online or in person soon. Okay, no other questions. Thanks, Heather and Janelle. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.